For joining us. I'm Beth Jones.
And I'm Peter Dubois. First tonight, a man found not criminally responsible for killing his brother by reason of insanity in 2008 is once again petitioning for independence from state custody.
Our Grace Blanchard has details.
After nearly 2 decades of being under state custody, 39-year-old Enoch Petroselli is seeking total independence from the state.
He's been a safe, responsible citizen since 2009.
Petroselli was found not criminally responsible by reason of insanity for stabbing his brother to death in 2008 on a visit to North Haven Island. He was then committed to the Riverview Psychiatric Center in Augusta, where members of his medical team testified he was treated for schizophrenia. Since then, he has been under the custody of the Commissioner of the Department of Health and Human Services.
He has his own support system, his own medical providers, and he's able to take care of himself. He doesn't need the oversight of the government.
This is not the first time Petroselli has petitioned for discharge, as a previous request was denied in 2022. According to testimony from his current case manager, the outpatient service team at Riverview does not support the petition for discharge and say they need more time to evaluate if he is a risk to himself or society.
Something to which the state would not be opposed is a gradual loosening of those contacts.
During the hearing, mental health officials said part of their analysis on whether he poses a threat has included reviewing his spiritual practices that he highlights in the 4 books he's written and his YouTube channel where he claims to channel spirits. However, the defense says he has proven not to be a threat to society and is dedicated to treating his mental state.
If the petition is denied, we'll regroup, gather more evidence, and petition sometime in the future.
No decision has been reached as the judge will continue to review the evidence. In Augusta, I'm Grace Blanchard for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
The Maine Warden Service is investigating an ATV crash in Sangerville that killed an 11-year-old boy. At around 4:15 on Tuesday afternoon, wardens were called to an ATV crash on the East Sangerville Road. Maine Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife spokesperson Mark Lottie says it appears the boy had been helping with chores at a neighbor's property and had gone for an ATV ride. When he did not return, the neighbor went to look for the boy and found him on a trail unresponsive with the ATV on top of him. The neighbor called 911 and got help to remove the ATV. Lottie says CPR was performed by those at the scene and emergency medical personnel, but they were unable to save the boy. That crash remains under investigation.
Tomorrow marks 1 year since police found 4 people murdered in a Bowdoin home. That gunman, the son of 2 of the murder victims, later went on to open fire at vehicles on I-295, hitting a brother and sister in their 20s. Brad Rogers spoke with their father about the shooting, their injuries, and their recovery.
We went by and he kind of swerved a little bit over, and I just kept on going, and didn't think anything of it.
Sean Halsey was driving south on 295 in Yarmouth with his adult son and daughter when he says a man in a car they just passed started shooting at them. Seconds later, shots shattered his car windows. 1 bullet hit his son Justin in the back. Another tore through his daughter Paige's aorta, lungs, liver, and diaphragm.
It was a matter of seconds, and she'd slumped over up against me on the driver's side and was out.
As soon as he could no longer hear gunfire, Sean pulled over, and he and his son both called 911. His son got through to a dispatcher as Sean tried to stop his daughter's bleeding.
It was terrible. Worst day of my life by far. Both of your kids are in trouble and you can only help one at a time, and how do you reconcile that,
Sean told us they had no idea if Paige would survive.
When we first got there, it looked pretty grim, and you could tell they were trying to be optimistic, but you could tell that it wasn't their true thoughts.
Paige and Justin underwent surgeries to remove bullet fragments and repair the damage. In Paige's case, doctors saved her life.
Sure enough, after her surgery and a couple of days of intensive care, she was just coming back full throttle and being amazing.
A year later, Justin and Paige have nearly fully recovered.
They are recovering amazingly well, physically, mentally, more than we could hope.
They decided not to talk with us because they want to put the shooting behind them.
They're both as close to 100% as we can expect, I think. They're both back to work and doing everything they can to just live their life as normal as possible.
And that was Brad Rogers reporting. Today is the last day of what was a jam-packed legislative session that included controversial proposals and the censure of two Maine representatives. Before they adjourned and hit the campaign trails, our Augusta reporter Corey Bouchard caught up with lawmakers who shared their thoughts on the 131st Maine legislature.
If you go in the military or you go off to college, they call it Hell Week. Well, this is what I call the last week of the legislature.
Wednesday, April 17th marks the statutory adjournment day, or the last day of the 131st legislature. We caught up with lawmakers to get their thoughts on how the session went and if they accomplished everything they wanted to.
I think it's been extremely productive. I know that there's been some last-minute ruffles.
I was so disappointed as a freshman legislator that we couldn't move things forward that would help Mainers, that would lower costs for Mainers, that would lower taxes for Mainers.
We've accomplished a lot of work. We continue to support our educators, the schools, by funding at 55%. We did a lot with affordable housing, property tax relief.
When the legislature adjourns, there will be a number of bills left on the table. It's under the discretion of the governor whether or not she wishes to call the legislature into a special session to finish their work. On Tuesday, Governor Mills sent a letter to lawmakers saying, quote, "I want to be clear, the answer is an unequivocal no. The legislature must find a way to complete its work, including passing a supplemental budget before statutory adjournment." Lawmakers would have to resubmit any bills left on the table, as well as any other legislative priorities in the 132nd legislature.
Well, I think we got to continue working on jobs and education, healthcare, making sure those investments are protected. And the jobs, education, healthcare have always been my top priorities.
Nursing homes, mental health. We've had some real mental health crisis here in the state of Maine. So those are some things that I'm going to be looking at in the upcoming legislature. I want to see what the funding does this year that we're putting forward.
I think we all need some time to breathe and then come back refreshed, talk to people in our community to see what their needs and wants are, and then come back with those issues.
First and foremost, we need to get the voters to the polls and hopefully get more Republicans here to make it more balanced in our decision making. Right now, it's a majority of Democrats, and they can move their principles and their programs forward full steam.
And now the legislators will hit the campaign trail as all 186 seats are up for grabs this November. At the State House, I'm Corey Bouchard for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
A research and development bond will be going to Maine voters this November. On Tuesday, the Maine Senate voted 25-7 to enact a bill that would invest $25 million for research, development, and commercialization through bonding. The bill was passed by the House earlier this month. Senator Teresa Pierce of Falmouth, who sponsored the bill, said she's eager for voters to have a say. She said, quote, "Maine needs to invest in our research and development industries, including, but certainly not limited to, biomedical technology, renewable energy, advanced technologies for forestry and agriculture, and precision manufacturing. Investing in these industries means supporting Maine's economic potential."
A $30 million bond for Maine's trails passed through the legislature with overwhelming support on Tuesday. The measure passed in the House by a vote of 133-6 and then in the Senate by a vote of 29-3. This would be the first time Mainers would have the chance to vote on a trails bond. If approved, the trails bond would provide $30 million over the course of 4 years to maintain and improve Maine's current trails and design new ones. Advocates have been pushing for lawmakers to send the initiative to voters and say the influx of money will help almost every industry in the state.
We're excited. Those are terrific votes for the people of Maine, for communities across the state who were asking the legislature to approve the bond, place it on the November ballot, so the people of Maine can vote and may be the deciders on whether to invest $30 million over the next 4 years in the development, design, and maintenance of trails. This will pass in November, I am confident. Maine people love our trails, and there's also this opportunity to invest in our trails and make Maine one of the top-tier states in the country that's known for incredible trails.
If signed by Governor Mills, it will appear on November's ballot for Maine voters to have the final say.
And a bill to protect against frivolous lawsuits has also become law. Senator Mike Tipping of Orono sponsored the act that expands protections for both individuals and organizations. Tipping said, quote, by better shielding people and media outlets from baseless retaliatory lawsuits, Maine can create a more vibrant and democratic public sphere, lessen the burden on our courts, and make sure the justice system cannot be used as a weapon by the wealthy and unethical. This new law will make a difference for Mainers who exercise their First Amendment rights, end quote.
Another setback for Nordic Aqua Farms as the Belfast City Council voted 4-1 to vacate the eminent domain order they put in place more than 2 years ago. Our Doug Banks explains what that order would have done and what happens next.
On Tuesday night, residents gathered inside Belfast City Hall to voice their disapproval of the proposed access Norwegian-based Nordic Aqua Farms had to Penobscot Bay. Access that would have been made possible through an eminent domain order the City Council approved back in August of 2021. Nordic Aqua Farms raises salmon indoors for human consumption only. The company approached Belfast in 2018 about building their operations along Little River. In August of 2021, the City Council passed an eminent domain order, effectively giving the company access to Penobscot Bay for their discharge and intake pipes. The order took intertidal land away from Jeffrey Mabee and Judith Grace, and in February of last year, the Maine Supreme Judicial Court ruled the company does not rightfully own the land. According to Executive Director of the nonprofit Upstream Watch, Nordic Aqua Farms promised jobs and funds to go towards the city's water district.
I think the council's decision last night were recognizing that this project is likely never going to be built. These benefits are probably never going to be built.
With a vote of 4-1 to vacate the eminent domain order, the city attorney must now prepare new paperwork, making the vacated order official. Those documents will be ratified by the City Council during the May 7th council meeting.
The actions they took last night were pretty huge, and we really appreciated them.
We've reached out to Nordic Aqua Farms, but have yet to receive a response. In studio, Doug Banks, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Well, with Maine's Severe Weather Awareness Week starting on the 22nd, it's a good time to remind folks to keep first aid kits up to date. Brad Greer is CEO of Dry Sea, which is a company that makes water-resistant bandages. He says a first aid kit shouldn't just be in your home, but in your car as well. According to a study conducted by the U.S. CDC, 44% of Americans don't have a basic first aid kit, and nearly half of adults in the U.S. don't have the right resources in the event of an emergency. Greer says although those numbers are from a study conducted by the CDC in 2020, they're still relevant today.
They should have a first aid kit, replace it every 6 months because some of the items in that first aid kit will expire.
Well, to learn more about what should be in your first aid kit, you can visit our website, foxbangor.com. And we have certainly seen our fair share of severe weather this winter and into the, the early spring weeks as well. So, it is a timely reminder because you just never know.
You don't know when you're going to need it. So being proactive and being prepared is always a good thing.
Always a good thing for sure. Alrighty, folks, well, let's go ahead and peek outside and get a first check of our forecast.
Tonight's weather is brought to you by Jordan's Furniture. It's not just a store, it is an experience. Temperature-wise, though, another good-looking day, right? We saw lots of sunshine. Temperatures slightly above average here in town. Bar Harbor back in those mid-50s. Rockland, not quite there. Upper 40s. Same thing right up into Greenville. And then north of that, we did see some mid to upper 40s. The winds are a bit on the breezy end right now. Not quite windy. We're talking a solid 12-mile-per-hour breeze in town. 10 by Bar Harbor. So overall, 5 to 15 miles per hour, but lots of sunshine earlier today, and that trend continues. Just a few passing clouds here and there. That will be the case overnight tonight as temperatures continue to cool off, hovering in those low to mid 30s.
Alrighty, Conrad, thank you. And still to come on Fox 22 News at 10, our Devin Dagnall will be highlighting new student COs at the Penobscot County Jail.
We'll have that story and more when we come right back.
Transform your surroundings with Paramount Paving, located in Bangor. They are your paving and seal coating experts. Whether it's residential maintenance to full commercial projects, Paramount Paving delivers quality that lasts. Book before June 1st and enjoy a $250 Visa gift card upon completion of your next paving project. Call us today at 602-8931 or visit us at ParamountPavingLLC.com. Paramount Paving, setting the standard for excellence. When it comes to paving, we are Paramount.
Our biggest challenge? Uncertainty. Hidden fees, surcharges, who knows what to expect.
Turn shipping to your advantage.
Keep it simple with clear upfront pricing.
With USPS Ground Advantage.
Your best days of the year start here at Kubota Orange Days. It's the year's biggest selection of Kubota tractors, zero-turn mowers, and utility vehicles, including the #1 selling compact tractor in the USA. Plus, get 0 down and 0% APR for 84 months or up to $2,800 off select BX tractors. Orange goes all day. Sales ending soon. Visit your local dealer today.
Mesothelioma is more than a ravaging illness. It is a disease that can ruin a family's finances and is never the victim's fault. The law offices of Joe Bornstein has been fighting and winning for Maine families for nearly 50 years, and we've collected over $500 million for injured Mainers. If you or a loved one is a victim of mesothelioma or asbestos-related lung cancer, call Joe today for a free case evaluation and to learn about your family's legal rights. Dial 207-CALL-JOE or online at joebornstein.com.
At the Toyota Spring Savings Event, great selection means lots of great savings deals. College students and recent grads could get a $500 rebate over and above most other offers. See your New England Toyota dealer, your all-wheel drive headquarters. Toyota, let's go places.
Welcome to Talladega.
The NASCAR Cup Series from Talladega, Sunday on Fox.
Hello, I'm Emma Smith, and coming up on Good Morning Maine, we'll hear the latest from Kennebec County Court as a man in jail for murdering his brother in 2008 is petitioning the court to be let out of jail. Plus, it's springtime and the black bears are out. We'll hear from the Maine Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife on how to stay safe.
Welcome back. An event in Bangor next week will provide free catalytic converter etchings for area vehicle owners. The event is in response to a 2022 law that created engraving and marking requirements for catalytic converters in an effort to keep them from being stolen or at least make them easier to trace. Vehicle owners must register in advance for a specific time slot for the event taking place on Tuesday, April 23rd at Eastern Maine Community College in Bangor from 8 a.m. to noon. EMCC students from the criminal justice and automotive tech programs will be on hand to assist in the marking of those converters. To register, you can send an email to the address listed right there on your screen.
Well, the Penobscot County Jail has a couple new officers joining their ranks, but these recruits are a little green. Our Devin Dagnall has the details.
There's a lot of different things you might see in the jail. You never really know what you're going to see.
Brooklyn Brown and Ashley Goodwin are two of the newest correctional officers at the Penobscot County Jail, but there's something interesting about them. They're both still in school.
This program has given you way more than I have ever imagined.
Brown and Goodwin are both first-year students of Eastern Maine Community College's criminal justice program. The two were introduced to their new positions last December while on a trip with their class to the jail.
They were talking about how understaffed they were, and I was like, well, do you guys have an application? I'm kind of looking for a new job.
Despite being first-year students, the duo claim they're more than prepared for their jobs and are eager to tackle any challenges they may come across. Goodwin says their education from EMCC has been indispensable during this whole process.
Everything that I've used here, I have had to use over there.
Despite staffing shortages law enforcement faces across the board, Brown and Goodwin are optimistic about those coming up through the ranks with them and acknowledge it's opportunities like the ones given at the jail and EMCC that make better officers.
And my biggest thing with wanting to be an officer is wanting to make a difference. I know that the more people we can get involved, the more people that are willing to work together, then the more we will have to work together in the field.
In Bangor, Devin Dagnall, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
And, you know, learning by or through experience is one of the best ways to do so.
Absolutely, learning by doing.
Yeah, exactly. So great to see them and their eagerness there.
And stepping up at such a young age.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Right. Well, coming up, we'll have a look at some of your national headlines.
That is coming up right after the break here on Fox 22 News at 10.
Fires, floods, burst pipes. Disasters happen, but the mess they leave behind doesn't have to last. For 40 years, Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration has been there to help Mainers get back to the closest to normal as they can. When your property is at its worst, Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration is at their best, and they have been for 4 decades. Put your trust in the Bouchard team. Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration. You keep the memories, we'll handle the rest.
Welcome to 207 Wellness, where transformation begins from within. Embark on a journey of self-betterment with our comprehensive services from weight management to IV hydration, vitamin supplementation, and neurotoxin injections. 207 Wellness is here to support your wellness goals. Take the first step toward a healthier, happier you, rejuvenate your body, refresh your mind, and reclaim your vitality with 207 Wellness. Transform your wellness, transform your life. Give us a call today.
So, all of us are here to talk about trading. Right now at US Cellular, you can get a new phone without having to trade in your old one.
Trade you my PB&J for that phone.
No, kid, you don't have to trade. See? $830 off any phone at US Cellular. No trade-in needed.
You drive a hard bargain. Boom. Chocolate milk.
You don't have to trade. I'll take the chocolate milk.
Okay.
Get $830 off any phone. No trade-in needed with any unlimited data plan.
There's 100 reasons why you should enroll in one of Maine's community colleges. Here are 5. Tuition is free for many, affordable for all. We have hundreds of programs. Our class sizes are small. There's free one-to-one academic advising and tutoring. And we make college flexible. 2-year degrees, 1-year certificates, and short-term training with online, hybrid, and in-person classes. Make your way here. Enroll today at a Maine community college.
Hood is the cottage cheese lovers love. Start with our award-winning country style. It's delicious on its own, or like this. That. Even, sure. Plus, it's got more protein than hummus and less sugar than yogurt. Then there's Hood's flavors. We expertly blend in real fruit or savory herbs for an unbeatable taste combination you can't recreate at home. Now that's cottage cheese. Hood cottage cheese. Always good, always Hood.
You're watching Fox 22, Bangor.
House Speaker Mike Johnson pushing ahead with critical military funding bills for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. It's a move some of his Republican colleagues aren't happy with, even as the wars in Ukraine and the Middle East continue to escalate. Fox's Kevin Cork has that story.
Rescuers digging through rubble, searching for survivors of Russia's latest missile attack in northern Ukraine. The strike reportedly killing 17 people and wounding some 60 others. It comes as Kiev struggles to fight off Moscow's invasion, now in its 3rd year.
We're seeing them make incremental gains.
On Wednesday, U.S. military officials warning Russia is slowly gaining ground. They urged lawmakers during a House Appropriations Subcommittee hearing to pass critical military funding.
Our request is that we pass it as quickly as possible.
Well aware of the situation, House Speaker Mike Johnson released the text for 3 separate bills that would provide a combined $95 billion for Ukraine, Israel, and allies in the Indo-Pacific region. Some $60 billion is earmarked for Ukraine.
To put it bluntly, I would rather send bullets to Ukraine than American boys.
Meanwhile, President Biden has rallied behind the proposal, writing in a statement, quote, "I will sign this into law immediately to send a message to the world. We stand with our friends, and we won't let Iran or Russia succeed." Johnson will have an uphill battle to get votes in the House, especially among his Republican colleagues.
We need to make sure that we are securing our border first before we secure Ukraine's, and that we're not funding terrorism.
He's also facing threats to his leadership over the issue. When asked about losing his job, Johnson had this to say.
My philosophy is you do the right thing and you let the chips fall where they may.
A vote on the international aid bills is expected this weekend. In Washington, I'm Kevin Cork, Fox News.
The race for the White House entered an unprecedented new phase. President Biden campaigned in a key swing state, while former President Trump navigates his campaign while spending the majority of his time in a New York courtroom. Fox's Connor Hansen has more.
President Biden is making his way through the crucial swing state of Pennsylvania.
Whoever wins the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania is going to be the next president of the United States.
Visiting his hometown of Scranton and meeting with union workers in Pittsburgh, he's trying to highlight the differences between him and his opponent.
492,000 new jobs so far in Pennsylvania alone. Under my predecessor,
who's busy right now. Pennsylvania lost 275,000 jobs. I mean, let's look at the facts.
Meanwhile, Biden's rival, former President Trump, is in New York, ordered to attend his hush money trial, where jury selection resumes on Thursday. After court Tuesday, he met supporters at a New York bodega.
It makes me campaign locally, and that's okay.
7 jurors have already been picked. Trump is expected to be in court 4 days a week until the trial finishes in about 6 to 8 weeks.
Biden has, in theory, a tremendous advantage. You can go to swing states while Trump is stuck in and around Manhattan.
He'll likely have to save events in other states for the weekends. Recent polling shows the race is tighter now than it was in February.
Well, we'll be all over. Weekends, we're doing rallies all over the place. And we've never had higher numbers than we have right now. Highest numbers we've ever had.
President Biden is spending 3 days in Pennsylvania. Former President Trump will hold a major campaign event in North Carolina on Saturday. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
The effort to impeach Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas has officially come to an end. After a party line vote, the proceedings did not last long in the Senate. We go back to Fox's Connor Hansen.
While Congress has battled over how to secure the southern border, Secretary of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas has been a frequent target of Republican lawmakers. The House impeached Mayorkas for allegedly refusing to follow the law and for lying about the border being secure. But Senate Democrats disagreed, quickly voting along party lines to dismiss the 2 articles of impeachment.
Everyone knows these were policy disagreements, never rising to what the Founding Fathers intended with impeachment with high crimes and misdemeanors.
Republicans argued their evidence should have been laid out in a trial for everyone to see.
He breached his constitutional responsibility. He's openly defied the federal law on immigration and the will of Congress.
Despite the White House and Secretary Mayorkas calling on Congress to fix the broken immigration system, both sides are still pushing their versions of a border security bill.
Democrats worked hand in hand with Republicans for 4 months to draft the strongest border security bill in 30 years.
It's been sitting on Chuck Schumer's desk collecting dust as they mock it.
Meanwhile, on Capitol Hill, Speaker Johnson announced his plans for an aid bill to help Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan, despite some pushback from his party.
My philosophy is you do the right thing and you let the chips fall where they may.
After past threats, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene now says she will not force a vote to oust Speaker Johnson before the foreign aid bill goes up for a vote, which could be this weekend. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
In 2 Senate hearings Wednesday, Boeing faced scrutiny as questions mount surrounding allegations of alleged safety misconduct. Fox's Hillary Vaughn has the latest from Capitol Hill, as well as testimony from a Boeing engineer turned whistleblower.
Alaska Airlines grounding flights for an hour Wednesday, saying in a statement they had, quote, experienced an issue while performing an upgrade to the system that calculates our weight and balance. Adding, out of an abundance of caution, we requested a ground stop for all Alaska and Horizon flights. The incident comes as tensions have been high regarding the airline industry as a whole. In January, a door plug panel blew off a Boeing 737 MAX jetliner. And 5 years ago, 2 deadly crashes involving different 737 jets killed 346 people.
The perception is things are getting worse.
On Capitol Hill, Congress is examining allegations of major safety failures, with Boeing the subject of back-to-back Senate hearings.
Boeing is at a moment of reckoning.
Recently, one Boeing engineer, a whistleblower, testified the company is taking shortcuts in assembling 787 Dreamliners, leaving sections of an aircraft's skin vulnerable to breaking apart.
Effectively, they are putting out defective airplanes.
One witness who lost his sister during the Boeing crash of 2019 in Ethiopia urged the FAA for more oversight and to push for structural change at Boeing.
I believe the flying public deserves no less.
No one from Boeing attended today's hearing, but the company says they're cooperating with Congress. In Washington, Hillary Vaughn, Fox News.
And stay tuned, everyone. We have much more to come after the break,
including more news, sports, and your full forecast. We'll be right back.
Saturdays, baseball's best are showing out. The biggest games on the best day of the week. Fox Saturday Baseball. all season long.
It's Ram Truck Month at Quirk Ram in Bangor. Deep discounts on remaining 23 Ram 1500 Bighorn. Save over $10,000 and buy for $59,000. Or save big on Gladiator Sport S with discounts over $9,700. Find your Ram or Jeep at Quirk.
Refine, your local expert in window and door installation, carpentry repairs, and commercial facilities management. At Refine, we're proud to offer Maine-made Paradigm windows crafted with care and precision to ensure quality and durability like no other. From quaint cottages to bustling businesses, let us refine your space with our signature Maine-made touch. Trust Refine to exceed your expectations every time. Contact us today and let Maine craftsmanship elevate your home or business. Rise with Refine.
Are you ready? It's Ford Truck Month, and we're celebrating 47 years as the best-selling trucks in America with special once-a-year offers on Ford F-Series, including the new 2024 Ford F-150 and Ford Super Duty, the North American Truck of the Year. It's time to celebrate America. This is Ford Truck Month. Now get 1.9% APR for 72 months on a 2023 Ford F-150 only at your New England Ford dealers.
Comfort Shoes and More is your destination for all of your spring and summer footwear essentials. We have trained podorthists on site, and our friendly, caring, and knowledgeable staff will make sure you are fitted with the proper footwear that is perfect for you.
The OrthoFeed hands-free sneaker is engineered for comfort.
We have many new sandal styles from Hoka, Teva, Power Step, Stride, and more. Come visit Comfort Shoes and More in Newport to find the perfect shoes for you.
Tired of your internet service constantly letting you down? Those other providers may promise the world with their flashy advertisements, but are you truly having a good customer experience? Fear not, because there's a new player in town. Introducing GoNetSpeed. No more endless hold times or automated responses. We're here to listen, support, and provide you with the exceptional service you deserve. Our fast, reliable fiber internet, it's mind-blowing. Let us show you what true internet satisfaction feels like.
The Love Spring event is here at Quirk Subaru. Buy a brand new 2024 Subaru Forester with 1.9% financing or lease for just $319 per month. It's your Subaru. Find it at Quirk.
Welcome back. Earlier today, I had the chance to sit down with Rachel Emus from Healthy Acadia to talk about the 13th Hancock County Food Drive and how you can help them reach their goal. Take a listen. And we're talking about the Hancock County Food Drive today. Yeah. It's happening all month long, and this is the 13th year of the food drive.
Yeah, it's a really special tradition in Hancock County in which members of local food security organizations come together to raise funds and collect food and address the food insecurity in our community.
And there's so many different food assistance programs benefiting from this one food drive. Tell us about just how far of a scope that this really encapsulates.
Yeah, so the organizations that are benefiting from the food drive this year include free meal programs, food pantries, and school backpack programs. And they're located in towns all across Hancock County, from Stonington and Deer Isle to Gouldsboro. So it has a wide reach.
That's awesome. And I understand people can donate food, but they can also donate money. And it sounds like a monetary donation might go a little farther than a food donation. Tell us a little bit more about why that's the case.
That is true, and that's because the organizations that the food drive benefits are usually purchasing their food that they give to community members from the food bank. So usually they're getting that food at wholesale rates, so they're able to stretch dollars much further than we can at the grocery store.
That's great to hear. So monetary donations are very highly encouraged, it sounds like.
They go a long way. Yeah, we tell folks that $1 can provide enough food for 2 meals.
And how easy is it for someone to donate? Is there a link right on your website?
There is. Yeah, we have a donation page. Our website is hcfooddrive.org. And people can track our progress. We have a thermometer on the page, and we're hoping to raise $50,000 this month.
And so we're about halfway through the month. Where are you guys in your progress right now?
We're about, I'd say, halfway there. Yeah,
Okay.
but we have a couple month-long events happening that are, that are raising a lot of funds, and we'll see where we're at the end of the month.
All right, fantastic. And if people want to get more involved with your organization, how can they do so?
Well, if they want to get more involved with Healthy Acadia, they can find us also online, healthyacadia.org, and there's lots of opportunities to get involved.
You mentioned that there's a couple events coming up this month to kind of boost your fundraising efforts. Can you tell us a little bit more about those events?
Yeah, so for the food drive, we have a month-long Miles for Meals challenge. That's an activity challenge. People can run or bike or walk, and they can raise funds for every mile that they log. And then we have a readathon for students, and it's the same kind of model, but students can fundraise for how much time they spend reading. So yeah, just really interesting and kind of fun ways for people to get involved from home.
Yeah, and also ways to feel good about yourself, you know, kind of improve your own health while giving back to your community too.
Exactly. Yeah, we really love these events. Yeah.
That's awesome. And anything else on the docket after we get through this month and the Hancock County Food Drive?
Well, these organizations operate year-round, and they're always looking for support, and they're such hardworking folks who run these food pantries and soup kitchens. So I'd say support them all year. They're always looking for volunteers, and yeah.
All right, thanks so much, Rachel Emis from Healthy Acadia. We appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
All right, yeah, it was great to be able to sit down with her, and here's hoping that they reach their goal and then some.
Yeah, let's just hope they blow it right out of the water.
Yep.
All righty.
Well, when we come back, our full 5-day forecast. Stay with us.
We got some clear skies out there, right? Finally, and some warmer temperatures, but don't put away those umbrellas just yet. I am talking a little bit more rain moving on in by the weekend or next week. I'll have the answers coming up.
Comfy, cozy, relaxing. Not Joe. Joe's Furniture. Joe's Furniture Warehouse in Newport is the place to find rockers, recliners, sofas, and easy chairs. Quality furniture, affordable prices. Not your average Joe. Joe's Furniture Warehouse, Grogan Avenue in Newport.
I called Joe Bornstein's office for a free case evaluation. They helped me with a car accident. I was injured, and so was my dog. They helped me with getting my vet bills reimbursed, my medical bills reimbursed, and going above and beyond, doing more than I had ever expected. They were kind, pleasant, and understanding through it all. The law offices of Joe Bornstein made the process so easy, I would absolutely recommend them.
Call Joe today for a free case evaluation. There's never a fee unless you win.
Protect your vehicle from rusting away with Bell's Automotive Protection. We are the leader in mobile undercoating and rust-proofing in Maine. We'll travel right to your driveway using the best and safest products on the market. This is much safer than rubberized coatings that can cause damage later on. We spray all types of vehicles, including commercial fleets. We all know vehicles aren't cheap anymore. Don't let the harsh winter chemicals eat them away. Call us or visit our page for a free quote. 207-659-3805.
The Legacy Sandwich, where you can find quality, homemade sandwiches that are made to order. When it comes to food, we take it seriously. That's why we serve shredded chicken and turkey on our sandwiches, and our bacon is cooked fresh daily. To pair with your sandwich, we also have a selection of homemade soups, macaroni salad, and baked goods for dessert. The Legacy Sandwich, voted Bangor's best deli sandwich shop for the past 12 years running. It's not just a sandwich, it's a legacy. Give us a call today.
Durable, sturdy, stylish. Not Joe. Joe's Furniture. Joe's Furniture Warehouse in Newport is the place to find solid wood, built to last, made in Maine dressers, bureaus, and nightstands. Not your average Joe. Joe's Furniture Warehouse, Grogan Avenue in Newport.
This is going to be the toughest next level chef yet.
I want my mom.
Only the best will survive.
All new Next Level Chef, Thursdays at 8, 7 Central on Fox.
Our Maine weather tonight is brought to you by Diversified Ink Tattoo Studio in Penobscot Plaza in Bangor, providing custom ink by licensed artists for over 20 years. Now, let's talk about this very, very significantly severe weather in Dubai, the deserts of Dubai. We're talking 6 inches of rain in just 24 hours. This was yesterday. That's equivalent to 2 full years of rain that they get out there. So putting it in perspective, that's pretty much like like Chicago getting around 77 inches of rain in just one day. That pretty much puts them at 2 full years of liquid equivalent precipitation. So lots of flooding going on in the desert regions of Dubai. Of course, it's the desert, and just a little bit of rain could cause some flooding, but 6 inches in 24 hours, definitely not good signs. For us, though, folks, we're staying clear right now. A few rain showers will be in the area Friday night into the day on Saturday. This is going to be very light for now, though. The upper Midwest, right up into southern Canada, we're talking some rain showers, even a couple of rumbles of thunder. You see that right there? Pretty much into PA. That's starting to really die down finally, but still some rain showers will be in the region south of our state. Here in town, though, just a few passing clouds here and there, mainly into the southern parts of the state. We're looking at a little bit more cloud cover in the region, but no rainfall and, of course, no snow anywhere near us. Anywhere here in Maine. Possibly maybe a little bit over 1/10 of an inch right at the coast Friday night into the day on Saturday. Same story here in town. We're looking at very light rain on the way. Talking about snow, pretty much gone. Just a few spots north of Millinocket, north of Greenville. Still have just a little bit more snow on the ground. Of course, those snow piles still a little bit high in some spots, but we are in mid-April and it is spring. We're going to continue to melt that snow away, especially with these warm temperatures the last 5 days. Some 50s and 60s we've been seeing. Remember, a week and a half ago, almost up to 70 degrees. So a very warm temperature trend is going to be continuing as well. Average highs around 54. We're going to be above average the next few days. By Sunday, your average is going to be around 56, so closer to average. And then a little bit above average by beginning to middle of next week. We're going to be hovering in those upper 50s, maybe up to 60 degrees. For tonight, though, we're looking at mainly clear skies, a few passing clouds, and a light breeze. Temperature-wise, though, we're going to be hovering at around 30 degrees, so slightly below freezing. For tomorrow, feels like we're back in spring, right? 60 degrees. Good day to go outside, play some sports. Mostly sunny skies and a light breeze once again. I'll probably be out there myself enjoying the warmer temperatures. Our extended forecast outlook does show slightly cooler temperatures by Friday, more chances of rain Friday night into Saturday, then things start to improve Sunday into Monday.
All righty, Conrad, thank you.
All right, and sports is coming right up next. Stay with us.
Higher shipping rates may be the cost of doing business, but at what cost?
Turn shipping to your advantage with low-cost ground shipping from the United States Postal Service.
Hello, Ghostbusters! It's Doug. We help people customize and save hundreds on car insurance with Liberty Mutual. We got a bit of a situation. Sure, I can hold.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
In theaters now.
Mesothelioma is more than a ravaging illness. It is a disease that can ruin a family's finances and is never the victim's fault. The law offices of Joe Bornstein has been fighting and winning for Maine families for nearly 50 years, and we've collected over $500 million for injured Mainers. If you or a loved one is a victim of mesothelioma or asbestos-related lung cancer, call Joe today for a free case evaluation and to learn about your family's legal rights. Dial 207-CALL-JOE or online at joebornstein.com.
Planet Oats so creamy and not watery like.
Exactly, and unsweetened, has 0 grams of sugar.
And don't forget, it's an excellent source of calcium.
Wow, Planet Oat really has it all. You guys are so right.
No, you are.
No, you are.
No, you are.
Yeah, you are.
Hey, Red Sox fans, you've got to play You Pick'em Red Sox at foxbangor.com. Local weekly winners receive prizes from Chase's Family Restaurant and Hideaway Lounge or from Chick-fil-A. Register now at foxbangor.com. You Pick'em Red Sox is sponsored by Blind Faith Tattoo, Bangor, K&M Auto, Holden, Old Town Redemption Center, and Twin City Tile Brewer.
Tonight's sports is brought to you by the KG. Stop in for hunting and fishing supplies, apparel, and homemade food.
Welcome back in, everyone. Thank you for staying with us. We'll start with some basketball again. News coming out yesterday that Maine men's basketball has a big matchup to open the 2024 season. And today, Chris Markwood sharing his thoughts on that game. The Black Bears will play Duke on November 4th to open the year, heading down to the historic Cameron Indoor Stadium to take on Cooper Flagg and the Blue Devils. It will be Cooper's first collegiate game, and he'll take on his home state school and his mom's alma mater. And for Maine, Duke is projected to be a top team in the country next year, so it's a great opportunity for both sides.
For us to be down there playing, Cooper in his first game, I think is a pretty special deal. Just from that standpoint, from the state standpoint, and everybody's extremely proud of what he's done up to this point and what he's going to do moving forward. Just excited for our guys to have this opportunity to play, obviously in an amazing venue. Historic venue against a really good team and really challenge ourselves right from the gate.
Looking forward to that. Let's go to some high school boys lacrosse action now. Wednesday afternoon, Hamden Academy trying to get the first win of their second ever varsity season, hosting the Vikings of Oxford Hills. To Cameron Stadium we go for this one. We're going to start in the first quarter. Broncos with a man advantage, and they take advantage. Keith Brooks to Evan Vives. He rears back and drills it. That is 1-0 Hamden. Later on, Broncos with another chance. Gabe Thornwall around the D, shoots, but a heads-up save by Chase Edmonds, keeping them off the board. Still in the first, Hamden again. Max Nason, the feed to Harrison Shane. He'll run up and bounce this one. That makes it 2-0 Broncos. To the second quarter we go now. Vives from behind the net catches Josh Sorois. He nails one on the doorstep to make it 3-0. Hamden goes on to win 8-6. Let's move on to the baseball diamond now. A midweek matchup here for Maine baseball. They're on the road playing the Warriors of Merrimack. Maine trying to get back in the W column after dropping 2 of 3 to Lowell. Down 4-0 early. Warriors have the bases loaded. Frankie Ferrantino at the dish. He gets all of this one, sends it over the fence in center field. That is a grand slam. Maine trails 8-0. They would put up 2 early in the next frame, 11-2 now. Black Bears have the bases loaded themselves. Jack Friend smacks this one to left center. He's got a grand slam of his own. Maine trails now 11-6. Merrimack would tack on a 3. Fourth inning now. 2 runners on, and Ferrantino is up again, and he unloads on the baseball again. A 3-run shot for the sophomore. Maine falls 19-8. Let's stay on the diamond now and go to some high school softball action, starting with the defending Class B North champs Nokomis opening up their season at home against Oceanside. And the Warriors would start off the year hot. Bottom of the first is where we will pick it up. First at bat of the game of the year for Addison Hawthorne. It's a line drive to deep center over the fence, a 2-run homer. That makes it 2-0 Warriors. Top second, Mia Coots for Nokomis goes 1-2-3 with 3 strikeouts right there, picking up just where she left off from her junior season. All right, moving on now. Still in the second, it's Reagan King. She grounds one down the third base line. Mackenzie Watson scores. It is 5-0 Warriors now. Next inning, Courtney Hughes grounds to Ava Philbrook out at first, and then Jordan Hughes is going to toss to third, and Liz Barstow tags out Sydney King, and that's a double play. Some heads-up defense there, but the Warriors were too much. They win 7-2.
The game was great. That's actually a good little team. We got to face them later on. They'll have a couple more people back too, and hopefully by then we'll have played enough games to get a little bit of experience.
Staying with some softball now. Bangor softball opening up the year against the Lewiston Blue Devils. Top one with 2 on. Bangor's Taylor Clark drills one deep to right. It will careen off the fence, and Clark will slide home with an inside the park 3-run home run, making it 3-0 Rams. Bottom of the first now. Devils come back. Juliette Philippon with the RBI base hit to center, scoring Isabella Enos. Lewiston wins a good one. 11-7 is the final. All right, let's go to the ice now. Maine Mariners heading out to New York on Thursday afternoon, and for the 3rd straight year, they're gearing up for some playoff hockey. They will play Adirondack on Friday in Game 1 of the semifinals. Game 2 is on Sunday, and then the series will be back in Portland next Friday. The Mariners' regular season finale win in overtime booked their ticket this year. They're looking for their first playoff series win as a franchise. Need to get past top-seeded Adirondack Thunder, but it's a matchup they've won 6 times this season so far.
I just think our lineup and style of play has matched up well against them and the way they like to play this year. So we're looking to take our game and kind of force it on them in the series.
We've taken 15 of a possible 28 points against these guys. We've outscored these guys.
our special teams has been really good against them. So there's no reason that we can't win this series, and I think that's got to be our mantra going in.
Finally now, back to the baseball diamond and down to Fenway Park. Red Sox trying to get back in the win column against the Guardians. Picking it up in the fourth inning, Connor Wong at the plate. Red Sox lead 1-0. He pulls the Ben Lively pitch deep over the monster. That is a solo home run, makes it 2-0 Red Sox, his third of the year. Fifth inning, same score, Tanner Houck dealing. First, he strikes out Will Brennan, swinging. Next batter, Estevan Florial, swinging. 2 batters later, Austin Hedges, swinging. Strikes out the side there in the fifth. Red Sox still lead 2-0. Ninth inning, same score. Houck looking for a complete game. Andres Jimenez swinging, but grounds out to David Hamilton at short to end the game. Houck gets a complete game shutout with 9 Ks. Sox win 2-0.
What made you so effective tonight?
Very rarely would I say that, you have all your pitches kind of working. Tonight was one of those where it felt good out of the hand no matter what I was throwing. So definitely a special night.
All right, that must have felt good. That's all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
Nothing comes close to this place in the morning. I'm so glad I can still come here. You see, I was diagnosed with obstructive HCM, and there were some days I was so short of breath, I thought I'd have to settle for never stepping foot on this trail again. I became great at making excuses, but I have people who count on me, so I talked to my cardiologist. I said there must be more we can do for my symptoms. He told me about a medication called Camzyos. He said Camzyos works by targeting what's causing my obstructive HCM, so he prescribed it, and I'm really glad he did.
Camzyos is used to treat adults with symptomatic obstructive HCM. Camzyos may improve your symptoms and your ability to be active. Camzyos may cause serious side effects, including heart failure that can lead to death, a risk that's increased if you develop a serious infection or irregular heartbeat or when taking certain other medicines. So do not stop, start, or change medicines or the dose without telling your healthcare provider. You must have echocardiograms before and during treatment. Seek help if you experience new or worsening symptoms of heart failure. Because of this risk, Camzyos is only available through a restricted program. Before taking Camzyos, tell your doctor about all of your medical conditions, including current or planned pregnancy.
Today with Camzyos, I don't lose my breath as often. My symptoms have improved, helping me go from expecting less to experiencing more. My name is Mike, and this is my Camzyos moment. Call your cardiologist today and see if a Camzyos moment may be in your future too.
Bipolar 1, I got help to push back.
I got help to push back.
We got help to push back with Lybalvi.
Once daily prescription Lybalvi is proven to treat manic or mixed episodes of bipolar 1 in adults to help you push back. Elderly patients with dementia have increased risk of death or stroke. Do not take Lybalvi if you are taking opioids or are in opioid withdrawal. The samidorphan in Lybalvi can cause severe opioid withdrawal that can lead to hospitalization or increased risk of life-threatening overdose. Get emergency help if you have trouble breathing, become very drowsy with slowed or shallow breathing, feel faint, very dizzy or confused, or have a fever, stiff muscles, rash, swollen glands, or problems with your liver, kidneys, heart, or lungs. Other serious side effects may include high cholesterol, weight gain, potentially fatal high blood sugar, uncontrolled body movements which may be permanent, dizziness upon standing or falls.
Are you ready? Ask your doctor about Lybalvi. Looking for copay savings? Text copay to 45286.
4 single farmers saddle up to find lifelong love.
We had a fire going, and that wasn't the only spark.
An all-new Farmer Wants a Wife, Thursdays on Fox.
Maine's bear population is waking up, and they're hungry. While they're not typically aggressive, there are some steps you can take to avoid them and keep them from finding their next meal in your backyard. Our David Ledford spoke with the state's bear biologist to learn more.
Bears are up for the spring.
Black bears are coming out of hibernation weeks earlier than usual this year. State bear biologist Caitlin Drasher says that's because a mild winter and an early snowmelt has allowed them to forage for food like acorns left behind from the previous fall.
Some bears were up and moving out of their dens around mid-March this year, so a little bit earlier. Typically, we see them up and out of their dens early to mid-April. Once they're able to leave their dens and consistently find food, they stay up for the season.
And that means it's time to secure any attractants around your home, like pet food, garbage, and bird feeders.
Bird feeders should be coming down earlier. Barbecue grills, making sure you're burning off all of the grease and food. Also securing trash cans.
Drasher says it's also important to lock your vehicles.
Bears will occasionally be able to open a vehicle door and climb inside for things like a candy bar wrapper, maybe a scented chapstick, anything. They have an incredible sense of smell.
Drasher says there are not many dangerous interactions between humans and black bears in Maine, but if a bear does come near your home, the best thing you can do is scare it off.
So you can make loud noises, bang pots and pans together. You can get in your vehicle and honk the car horn. But it is good to give the bears a negative experience when you do see them, as long as you can get yourself to a safe distance first.
You can protect livestock and pets on your property with proper fencing or by keeping them inside. For more tips on avoiding bear interactions, visit our website. In Bangor, David Ledford, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
The city of Ellsworth is looking forward to continuing an annual Earth Day tradition. This Saturday, April 20th, locals are invited to participate in the Hard Brook cleanup from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. To get involved, all you have to do is stop by the Ellsworth Hannaford, where you'll be assigned a section of brook to clean up and remove any unwanted debris or litter. Ellsworth City Manager Charlie Pierce says the event is a great way to get the community involved in some spring cleaning before the busy tourism season begins.
Surrounding area, the natural environment here is also incredibly gorgeous, and making sure that we take time out of the days and years to sort of give back and keep that, it's what keeps Maine special, so really, really excited about it.
According to Pierce, trash bags and pickers will be provided for all participants, so the only thing you'll need to bring is yourself.
And speaking of the 20th, excitement is building for the upcoming Kenduskeag Extreme Canoe Race this Saturday. There are around 350 boats registered for the race right now, including kayakers, canoers, and paddleboarders that will all be coming down that 16.5-mile course. Boaters of all ages and abilities are welcome, whether you're really looking to compete or you just want to get in a boat with family or friends and have a good time. The beloved race has been an outdoor staple for 57 years.
From the beginning, 1963, it started off with 22 people, and it was really low for the first 4 years, but then it started creeping up, and at its highest peak was 1,400 people into the race. And, COVID kind of dropped things, but it's going back up. I mean, right now we're at 700 and there's still 3 days left.
Love the hoots and hollering. Definitely looks like a really good time. Well, until Friday, you can register online at Bangor Parks and Rec or in person at the Parks and Rec Department. On race day, Saturday, you'll have to go to the Kenduskeag Union Church to register in person, but Gendro says get there early so you don't miss your actual start time. Definitely not good to procrastinate when it comes to something like that.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But man, looking at those clips just looks like a roaring good time.
Oh, I am all in for next year. I'm planning on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. All right, folks, that's going to do it for us. Good night.
Good night.